Oh boy. Here we go. This is the, third time this story has been adapted. I am the Kaiju no Kami from the Toku Animation News Network. This is Halloween month and my quickie review of Salem's Lot. Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. Salem's Lot is a Stephen King story about a vampire who comes to a small town and takes it over. We have an author who has writer's block. He comes to his hometown hoping to be inspired to write something new and starts researching the death of his parents as he had left the town when he was a child. He meets a girl who instantly falls in love with him because she's actually a fan of his work. Then these strange things are happening as this new guy moves in and people are disappearing, especially kids. And things just go awry. Now, I have never read the book, so I don't have the book to compare too much on. I know elements of the book. I've watched the 1970s miniseries, which I thought was really well done, well paced, and this movie lacked all of that. Now, maybe it is because I do know the pacing of the miniseries, but I felt like things in this movie were just moving way too fast. It's going from point A to point B to point C to point Z all in such a quick succession. It doesn't really let you digest exactly what is going on. There's elements where one character is suddenly talking about vampires, and it's like, what? How did you just assume vampires? There was nothing to show us where he came to that conclusion, how he came to that conclusion. Did he do any research? Is he familiar with vampires? Has he encountered vampires before? Because it didn't seem like it in the way this movie was written. So I was a bit confused on how all of a sudden he knew it was vampires that he was dealing with. I will say there are a few cool moments. They had some good use of fog effects. There's one sequence where a vampire child comes up to the window of another child, which all I thought of was The Simpsons though. And he's knocking on there, and it's very foggy outside. It was dark. Probably one of the best sequences in the entire movie. Besides pacing, the movie lacks suspense and tension. Most of the movie was just like, okay, when's the next thing gonna happen? Oh, are we gonna have a jump scare? Oh, look at that, that's happening. Oh, okay, that's happening. It's not the worst Stephen King adaptation I've ever seen, but I can see why this ended up becoming a streaming movie rather than the theatrical film. I believe it was filmed in 2019, got pushed back because they needed to do reshoots, but COVID happened. They finally did their reshoots, and then they pushed the movie back, and again, until they decided to just bring it on streaming on HBO Max. And it shows. The third act is a complete mess. They waste no time in the beginning of the movie to show off Barlow, which was a big mistake. One of the things I will say the original miniseries did was they built Barlow up, and since they were going with the Count Orlok version of Barlow from the miniseries, for this, instead of the way he is done in the book, they should have built him up, because they just jump right into showing you Barlow in like the first 20 minutes of the movie, that it kind of kills the tension of what is occurring around this town. Was not a fan of that. The Barlow makeup didn't look all that great either. Then the third act was a complete change, complete mess. I don't even understand what they were doing. It was kind of like something out of John Carpenter's Vampires, which felt out of place for this story, for this book, this adventure. They also don't have the prologue or epilogue aspects that are in the future. This movie did nothing for me. It wasn't strictly boring. I didn't hate it. I might have enjoyed it more if I hadn't seen the miniseries before, but then I might not have. It's better than Dreamcatcher, which Dreamcatcher is currently my least favorite Stephen King adaptation ever, followed by the remake of Pet Sematary, which I've never seen the original of. Not exactly a great movie to watch, not exactly a shining example of Stephen King's adaptations. So I'm going to give Salem's Lot a generous 6 out of 10, I guess. We'll go with 6 out of 10. The music was very forgettable. I don't even remember who it said did the music, because I think I was like, wait, they did the soundtrack for this? How? This soundtrack sucked. It was so forgettable. Or am I thinking of another movie? Maybe I'm thinking of another movie where I was shocked at who did the music to it. But the music in this one royally sucked. The effects were subpar. The actors, they had a lot of great actors in this movie and just didn't do anything with them. All the actors just felt like they were reading their lines rather than acting. So, yeah, unless you absolutely must see every Stephen King adaptation, I'd say skip this one. You're not missing anything much. Have you seen Salem's Lot? Don't watch it. If you have, let me know what you thought of it below. What's your favorite adaptation of Salem's Lot? The original from the 80s. I think there was a... Or 80s, 70s. I think there was a 2004 adaptation. No, couldn't have been 2004 because we have 2024. Whatever. There was another one that I have not seen. Let me know what your favorite is. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube has clicking on to support me. You can support me on Patreon and Bluesky at Toku AAN Network, Facebook, Instagram, Discord at Kaiju no Kami. My website is creativitybydesignllc.com, and you can buy cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise at creativitybydesignllc.com/shop. There's also a link in the description below. And, well, what is your favorite vampire movie? You know what? Forget about Salem's Lot specifically. What is your favorite vampire movie? Let me know that as well. And until next time, bye.